welcome. I'm Laura from Expat Planet. I'm joined by Tati Paez, who is an expat advisor and consultant. Originally coming from Brazil, Tati embarked on her expat journey 27 years ago, crossing 4 continents, together with a robust background in human resources leadership. With all the challenging situations she had to go through when relocating from Sao Paulo to Paris. With 2 toddlers, she decided to establish her own consultancy where she aims at supporting expats on their global journeys. Now based in sunny Barcelona, Tashi specializes in guiding expats through smoother relocation. Today, we are going to dive into a topic of energy management. And if you like our conversation, please hit the subscribe button and support us. Hi, Tachi, how are you?
Good. Thanks for inviting me. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, so how can we navigate our expat journey with energy?
That's a great question. Usually this is a thing that most people don't take into consideration when they're moving abroad. And why? Because there are so many things to think about and so many things to take into consideration that we just have our to-do lists and we just go. And then what usually happens is after a few weeks, we start feeling very, very, very tired. And what do we think? Oh, it's supposed to be like this, you know, we're moving countries, we have a lot of things to do. When we realize, sometimes it's too late. So this is why it's very important to be aware of managing your energy, especially when you're moving abroad.
I was thinking that maybe if I felt like that, I would say, this is not for me. Maybe I would just return. It all could happen.
Yes, definitely. If you're not expecting this and you go through such a big change, the first, and this is true for a lot of challenges that we face. Every challenge that we face, we question, did I make the right decision? So yes, you're right. This could be a moment where you, for the first time, might ask yourself, why did I move?
Yeah, exactly. So what can we do? What can we do before? How can we prepare?
Okay, well, the first thing, and this is something that I always work with my clients, is awareness. So the first thing is to become aware that this is going to happen and why it's going to happen and what you need to do to make the situation okay when it happens, you know, like having the right tools. So when you move abroad, what's going on? There are a lot of things going on that before they were not part of your life. So for example, language barriers. So when you move abroad, you're likely in a city that you don't speak the language. So everything that you do is going to consume a lot more energy than what you were used to in your own country. So for example, going to a supermarket. I love this classic example because it happens to everyone. The first time you go to a supermarket, you get there. First of all, you don't know where to go. Like you just don't know where the things are. You don't know what brands to buy. You don't know anything. And then, so you really have to put a lot of energy into this. You have to find the things. And then I remember when I moved to Paris, the supermarket was huge. And then you can even ask, where is the butter? Where is the rice? Because you don't know. So you have to go and you have to go on translator and you have to find out. So like all of this consumes a lot of energy. So the language barrier is a big one that just drains you all the time.
Okay, and how can we prepare for this?
How you can prepare for this? Well, understanding that you will go through this, because once you are aware, once you have this consciousness, it's a lot different than just feeling tired and not knowing where it's coming from. And the language also is true for those who are working in a country that they're not working in their like first language. Even when you say like, oh, I speak the language, you know, I'll be fine. But spending the whole day speaking that language and presenting and going to important meetings, yes, it's very tiring. So having this awareness is the first step. And then understanding, and this is true for language barrier, this is true for cultural adjustments, for all the, and we can go into this also, like the things that will drain your energy. But how you can work it out is what's key. So having the awareness is the first step. And then understanding what composes your energy is the second step. And then understanding what you can do inside each one of these things is how you're really going to deal with it, how you're really going to manage your energy. So here, what are we talking about? The first one is your physical energy. So this is where you come from, you know? And here, when you talk about physical, you're talking about, obviously, you are doing a lot of physical work when you move, you know, like putting boxes, walking around the house. This is a classic one. Also, you go to the kitchen, you open the cabinet to get a glass, and then it's not there, and you close and you go look for another one. So you don't do anything. Nothing's automatic. So you're wasting a lot of like your physical energy also. So what can you do to improve your physical energy? Well, a big and important one is sleep. And this is something that when you move, you're jet lagged. Also, you have so many things to do during the day that many times you end up staying up super late because that's the time that you have to, you know, to put order in your house, to organize everything. Knowing that's very important to sleep. It's an investment. You know, you might think you're wasting time sleeping, but no, you need that rest. You need to renew your energy to be prepared to do your tasks the following day. So this is a very important one, sleep. Another one that's very important is your eating habits, what you're going to eat. That's also classic. When you move, many times you don't have healthy food at your house, you know, you just order a pizza, or you don't have time to cook like a good meal, and you just grab like something that's not healthy, you know, like snacks. So also understanding that you need to make your body, like you need to replenish your body, like you need to be healthy so that you have energy, like physical energy to do whatever you will be doing during your first weeks and obviously months, also when you are abroad. So this is very important. Also, something that I learned, I don't know if the hard way, but I really learned this in practice, is exercising. I was never like the exercise person. I've done Pilates before, you know, I've done like dance classes and things like that. But in my last move, which was to Barcelona, I started going to the gym like a lot. And I can really see how this changes my level of energy. So exercising is extremely important. And I realized that when you move, sometimes you are not like a member of a gym yet, or you think you don't have time,
Yeah.
but you always have to find that time. Because exercising is very, very important for you to renew that energy, to keep going, keep moving.
Yeah.
So this is the first thing that you need to take into consideration, like the things that you have to remember to do when you move. This is the physical part of your energy.
Yeah. And maybe just accept the idea that you won't be ready in 1 or 2 months. It will take more time, and
Exactly.
not trying to rush the things is also an option.
Exactly. Because what happens is, when we move, we really just want to get, you know, like everything organized, everything ready. Is it possible to have it maybe ready in a month, which is what you would really like it to have, like as a deadline? Yes, it's possible, but that's going to cost you something. You know, you can do it. You can totally do it. You don't have to sleep. You can eat whatever because it's faster. You don't have to exercise because you just want to get things done. You can do it, but that's going to cost you. Because at the end of when you're done with whatever you were doing, you know, for example, organizing your house, you're going to be like completely depleted. You're not going to want to do anything. And then you're going to waste time. All that time that you saved in the beginning, you're going to waste. And that impacts you a lot, because when you are tired, when you don't have energy, you have absolutely no patience. And remember, you know, when you're moving with a family, you're going through school adaptation with your kids. If you're moving with a partner, your partner is going through adaptation at work, or you are going through adaptation at work, even if you're moving within the same company. There's always adaptation. It's adaptation for everyone. And when you're tired, you can't deal with the situation at your best. So this is the first pillar of your energy that you should manage.
Yeah. What's the next one?
Emotional. And here we're talking about going into the topic that I kind of already introduced, managing stress and anxiety, which is very common. You know, you're moving to a new country, you have your family with you, your kids, everyone is a bit anxious because when you move, you don't know what to expect. You face challenges that you weren't expecting. There are a lot of surprises, obviously good, but also bad.
Yeah.
It's part of life. But when you are away from your home, away from your family, it just becomes a bit more difficult, especially because you don't have a network, you don't have friends, you don't have family, you don't have anyone that you can really count on.
It's the most difficult part, for sure.
Yes, because that it's all on you. You know, you don't have anyone to count on. And I especially work with expat partners. And what happens is usually when the executive moves, they are obviously very focused on work. And then the partner is the one that's responsible for organizing their life. And then they move there with their partner. So they're expecting, obviously, to have the support of their partner, but then the partner is focused at work. Yeah. So they feel alone. And many times they question, why did I change my whole life? Yeah. Why did I leave my career, left my support network, left my identity behind to move here and not get your support? And then you start going into the family dynamics, you know, discussions and the challenges that you go through with your partner at home because of everything that's happening.
This is a super important point because I know many families who just really didn't work through because of this.
It's very common. The impact of this is really, really serious in all aspects of life. So failing, and this is a number that I really always like to bring up, which is 40% of expats fail. And meaning that they either don't perform as expected at work or they return home earlier. It just doesn't work out.
Wow. And it's a huge number.
It's a big number. And 70% is due to the family not adapting. Mm-hmm. So when you go into the family dynamics, it's something that's really important to manage. So this is why I like to bring the subject of energy management, because it's something that's extremely helpful. It's a great tool, and that most people don't take into consideration. They're not aware of how it happens and what you can do to improve it.
Like I have to say that before I moved to Spain, I was doing some research, but I didn't find any information like this. So of course they are not aware because we don't talk about it.
So going back into the emotional well-being, what's very important is also the people that you meet, the friends that you make, because as we said, you don't have your support network when you move, you don't have your family, you don't have friends, you don't have anyone to count on. And many times, as I said, your partner is really focused at work. And many times also, it's very common that they travel. So you move with your family and your partner goes away and you're there on your own. So this emotional support is very important. And how can you make this connection? This is also a question that I get asked a lot and that I work a lot in my advising sessions, is building the importance of building these networks and how you can do it. And I always recommend to find interest groups, either from your people from your country, people that enjoy doing the same things that you like to do.
Language schools.
Language schools is a great one. Also schools, you know, like through your kids, if you're moving with kids, that's very helpful. So taking care of your emotional part is important for your energy, because that's gonna, you know, like renew your energy, these connections that you make. Also, this is very important because this is how you're gonna begin feeling like you belong in that city. So the whole like questioning, what am I doing here? When you know people, it becomes a lot smoother. So
when I started going to a language school in the beginning and I didn't know anyone here, like I considered them to be my family.
Yes.
Like I really needed them. Without them, I would be lost here.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that the greatest things about expats, and I always also like to say this, is that most expats don't have their families there. So they also consider you their family. Yeah. And this is great.
Yeah.
like you spend like the important dates, like holiday celebration, things that you usually do with your family, you do with your friends.
Yeah.
I know that back in Brazil, it's like it's hard to go out with friends on Sundays, for example, because that's the day that most people are with their families. And I was giving a talk this week in a school, and I told them, I'm like, don't be afraid to invite people. And don't think like, oh, I'm not gonna invite them on the weekends because they're gonna be with their families. No, most people don't have families unless they're visiting. So invite them. People really meet on the weekends too. It's not just family; it's with friends because that's who they have. So this is also very, very, very important when we're talking about energy, so that you're not like home alone because you begin feeling, like homesickness and all those things that will bring down your energy. And the connections that you make is what will bring it up again.
If you are in a city with a huge expat community, it's easier because they are in the same situation as you are. That's why you connect and you create a support group together.
Exactly. And also something that's very important is don't expect to be invited. Invite yourself. Mm-hmm. Invite people to go out with you. Don't expect to have it all ready for you because it depends on you. And you also are going to have to put energy into this. So that's also important to understand this. Yeah. So this is why you have to have high energy. Exactly. So that you can really make the best out of it.
Yeah, if you want friends, go and find them.
Yes, exactly.
If you want to go out, you can create some meeting and invite other people. Yeah.
Yes.
Create your life, your dream life in a new country.
Just the way you would like it to be.
Is there anything that we can mention about emotional support and energy?
When we talk about emotions, when you're abroad, you live emotions that maybe you have never felt before. Homesickness is a classic one. You're away from your family. There's also another one that's very common, which is missing out. So, for example, your friends are all back home going out for someone's birthday party. You're not there. You have, for example, maybe like someone from your family's baptism, or even a wedding, or a birth. Those things that were part of your daily life, and that when you move abroad, you're not there anymore, and you feel like you're missing out.
Yeah.
So this is also an emotion that you are probably not used to dealing with, and that's new to you. Many times you don't realize you're gonna feel it. When you move, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna feel like homesickness. Yeah, I'm gonna miss my family, my friends, my home. And then like things like this, like you don't realize that you're gonna feel.
It's some kind of jealousy, right? I'm jealous that my friend's doing that, and I feel that I would like to be there. And what can I do now here for me to have the same?
Exactly. And not question, why am I here? No, you're going to question it, but make it worth it being there. And this is what I say. Sometimes people tell me, oh, but living in Barcelona is so easy and it's so nice. It's an amazing life. And I'm like, yes, but you have to work for it. Like don't waste time. Don't think like, oh, like in the future, I'm going to go look for a group of friends because now I'm taking care of organizing my house. No. Just go. Like from the beginning, look at everything that you have to do. Look at all the different pillars in your life and focus in all of them. Don't focus just on one, because then you're going to go down that way and then everything else is going to fall apart.
I was waiting for months because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't have any ideas. Now, of course, I would do it completely differently. Yes. First time is everything more difficult.
Another emotion there are many emotions that we can talk about for hours here that we face, but insecurity. You're insecure in a different way when you move abroad, and your kids also. You feel like you can't do anything about the situations that your kids will face. For example, starting a school in a different language. You can't help them. Like, what can you do? How do you prepare them for that? You can only go a certain distance, but you can't be there and speak for them until they learn the language. So you feel insecure also for your kids. Yeah. Meditating, like mindfulness, all of these practices are very helpful, like breathing, things that can make you manage better your anxiety. Mm-hmm. And to manage better your anxiety, having awareness is also very important, because you know that that's going to happen, and not having a plan, like, okay, when this happens, what can I do? and understanding how much control you have, because you're not going to have control of everything. Forget it. So when you learn how to deal with your emotions in this way, and like the things that you can do to manage it, your energy, you can use it a lot better to help you through your relocation and through your expat journey.
Yeah, and what about cultural differences and cultural shock? It also has an impact, no, on our emotional, also mental well-being.
Yes, the cultural differences is very interesting, because many times we're in situations and we don't realize it's a cultural difference.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are already feeling a bit insecure, that might impact you even harder. So depending, for example, here in Spain, sometimes people talk straight, and they're more how can I say, they're more direct when they're speaking, and they speak louder. Brazil, people many times they speak, more
Oh, really? I
Yes.
thought the temperament was even stronger. No?
Depends on the situation and depends on who you're dealing with. So maybe this example applies more to client and customer situations, because in Brazil, they treat clients you're the most important thing, how would you like this done? And here they're more it's this way, it's like that. I remember I went to a restaurant once, and I couldn't find the wine list on the menu, and I asked the waiter, I'm like, excuse me, do you have wine? And he's like, of course, this is a restaurant, what do you think?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, sorry, so this is the kind of, it's a cultural difference. And but when you're not aware of it, it might sound like he's attacking me.
I had also a lot of experiences like this. I can remember going to a supermarket, and the shop assistant was like, "Dime, tell me, with nothing. Hi, can I help you? Do you need any help? What are you looking for? Just tell me." And the tone, I was like, "What did I do?" I felt I did something wrong.
Exactly. And that hits your emotion even harder, because you're not aware that it's a cultural difference. So definitely it's something that impacts you. And also talking about cultural adjustments, that also consumes energy, because you're trying to adapt to a new style. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, you are trying to keep your own. Mm-hmm. So it's the whole time, it's this is going on in your head, and you don't even realize it, but you're like, okay, I have to adjust, but I'm like this. I have to adjust, but I'm like this. How far do I adjust? How far do I keep my own, my own characteristics and my own culture?
I don't know if you have the same saying, but we say the number of languages you speak, that number of people you are. In every language, you are a different person. Yes. So this is what I think we experience when we come to a new country. Uh-huh. We are changing our identity.
Yes. I can see this with myself, because I remember when I lived in the United States as a teenager, and the way I answered the phone, my mom would be like, why are you talking like this? Because I'd be like, what up? And then she's like, why are you talking like this? In Portuguese, you don't talk like this. And I can see this with my kids already, how they're different in the languages that they speak. It's very interesting.
Sure. Well, so what's the third pillar?
So the third one is mental. And this is where we talk about productivity and your focus. This is especially important when you're talking about your work challenges and the new language, which is something that we've already touched upon. It's very important for you to keep focused and know where you're going. And here the language plays a very important role, because the language is what's in your mind the whole day. And trying to make these connections in a different language, trying to work everything out in a different language is what's really draining.
One of the emotions that I felt was frustration, because my Spanish wasn't good. That's why I started learning the language. And in 10 months, I was able to speak, but it was really a hard work. I dedicated hours on a daily basis to get there, because I hated the frustration.
Having these emotions, they can also be helpful in that way. Maybe if you hadn't felt frustrated, maybe you wouldn't have learned Spanish.
I wouldn't be that motivated, I guess.
Yes. So these emotions, sometimes they're good for you to feel, because they are the ones that are going to push you forward. So it can drain your energy, but it can also be like a booster for your energy too.
Yeah, that's true.
to keep working. And frustration is also a very common emotion to feel, because many times when we move to a different country, we only have a beautiful image, like, oh yes, it's going to be amazing, I'm going to live in a different country and I'm going to travel and this and that. And then you arrive and you're like, wow, like I wasn't expecting this. Like I wasn't thinking about this. I didn't take this into the consideration. So like you really get frustrated. And then feeling frustrated makes you feel bad, because you're like, I'm not appreciating this. Why am I frustrated? Look at me. Look where I am. Look at all the experiences that I have. Look at everything that I have. Why am I frustrated? And then like you begin with like this whole fight inside your mind that that can really impact your mental well-being. And just to continue on the productivity point, inside your mental energy, here it's important to mention, for those who are, especially for those who are working, that they have to really have a high performance and have the results that many times the company that transfer them is expecting. So there's a lot of pressure. So really using the mental energy towards the right channel is very important. And this is something that that I always also work with my clients, is managing your energy, like putting it to the things that will have an important impact in your life. Where can you renew your energy so you can really put it towards making the best decisions? So you're not just wasting energy like in things that you shouldn't be wasting. And how are you renewing your energy so you can really focus and deliver the results and just go towards the path that you would like to go in your expat life?
Relocation is a life-changing process. It seems to me that mindfulness is the most important, to be aware what's going on.
Yes. This is why I invite people in my programs to really take a step back and to look at yourself from outside the situation. Because inside the situation, again, you're looking for a school, you're looking for a house, medical service, and documentation. But your life is much more than that.
Yeah.
So take a step back. What are the pillars in your life?
So how do you exactly guide expats in your Interroute program?
Well, I have a few programs, but I'll tell you about the Advising and Orientation program, which is a program that I work with expats worldwide, meaning that moving from anywhere to anywhere. And I have developed my own methodology, which is called Roots of Life. And it's based off the Wheel of Life. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but pretty much what it is, it's the different pillars of your life, and you have to find balance between them. So I adapted this methodology to this concept to the expat life. So what are the main pillars within the expat life that you need to look into and that you need to balance? And the first one is your goal. This is where you have your purpose. What's the purpose behind your move? And this brings us into the fourth pillar of energy, which is spirituality. Here you talk a lot about the purpose. Like, what are you here for? And this is extremely important for expats, because as I mentioned before, when you run into challenges, and you will question what you're doing there. Why did I move here? When you have it clear, it makes it a lot easier for you to understand and say, okay, I know why I'm here. I'm going to keep moving. If it's not clear to you, you're going to be like, why? No, I shouldn't have come. No, maybe I shouldn't be here. Maybe I should go back. And then you go through the whole like negativity route when you could be like growing, and taking that into, for example, your frustration. No, I'm living in Spain. I'm in Spain because of this. I'm frustrated because I don't speak Spanish, but I'm here because of this reason. So I'm going to go and I'm going to learn Spanish. So I'm not going to be frustrated, and I'm going to take something really, really positive out of this. So this is the first pillar that I work with my clients. And then we go through the other ones, which is family, partner, wellness, which really goes into what we're talking about today, the energy management, the social pillar, which we also talked about today. What else? Growth. So here we talk about your personal and professional growth. So it's the different finance also. with all the choices that you make and how that's related to your financials, like how can you make better decisions. So I have a program, and it varies according to the need of the family. So it could be from one session to 4, 5, or even 6, because I offer this to corporations as well. So it's really based on the need of the family. And we work based, I have an assessment that they go through to really understand what pillars they need to focus more on. But it's really looking at the whole life and really guiding them so that they can have a fulfilling and positive experience abroad. And all of this saving time and energy. Because once you work through this and you have someone guiding you, you're really saving time and energy so that you can really put your energy towards the most important decisions. Most of my sessions are online because this program is really targeted towards pre-relocation, to help the family prepare for that relocation moment.
My life would have been different if I had you a few years ago.
Maybe if you move next time. I also work with families. Some families really feel confident and comfortable to go for a second or third move without support. But I also work with families who have moved before, but had such a negative experience that they say, this time I want guidance, like I want support.
This really sounds interesting. I think it's very helpful and very needed. Tell us, where can people find you?
You can find me on my website, Interroots by TatiPaez.com. You can also find me on Instagram, Interroots by Tati Paez. And I'll be very happy to help you with your move. If you're planning to move, I advise that we speak before and we can evaluate together your need regarding the program. And for those who have already moved and are also feeling a bit lost, a bit uncomfortable, feeling that they haven't really settled in yet, which is completely normal. We think like, in 3 months we'll be fine. Sometimes we're not. Sometimes it takes a year. Sometimes it takes longer.
Thank you, Tati, for coming and sharing all these insights, tips, and advice.
Thank you, Laura, so much for inviting me.
You're welcome.
It was a pleasure.
You will find all the contact information in the description. Thanks for tuning in. And if you liked our conversation, please subscribe. We will be much more passionate to bring you more insightful content. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.